G'day, ZiggyD here with Amy, aka Elsbeth, my player character for my Pathfinder campaign that I've been doing. Hopefully you guys have just watched the update video I did, and I just wanted to say the reason we're doing this live thing, besides we think it's probably going just to be a bit of fun, is I've had a few people send me messages or leave comments saying that they're inspired to, or they really wanted to do a Pathfinder or D&D sort of game with their partner or with a friend, but they weren't really sure how you actually go about doing it. So I thought we'll just let you guys sit in on a session, and hopefully we'll have a bit of fun. So let's recap where we're up to. I believe at the end you guys are pretty fully healed up now. You wake up in the morning. You can see Oren is pretty much just gearing up, aka strapping his sword to his back because he doesn't really have much else. You see the other two, the older Pilgrim is rolling up his bed sack, and the younger one's sort of already done his stuff and is sort of like having a poke around and things like that. Oren comes up to you and says that although we're not in a particular rush, it's probably be a good idea if we get back on the road.
Yep, let's do it.
Alrighty, so you guys just sort of finished packing up there. Was there anything else you wanted to do in the kobold lair?
Oren said he wanted to come back for the...
Yeah, he said...
To be able to come back, so...
Yeah, Oren says to you, I might come back way later for that armor, but...
Might drag
doesn't seem too fast.
koboldy thingies out and set them on fire.
You're going to set the kobolds on fire?
Burn them.
Alright. Oren sort of nods at that. Sort of thinks it's a good thing to do, he says. But we should probably hurry in case any more kobolds come. So you guys take about an hour and pile up the bodies and... stack them up and just sort of give them a little bit of a pyre. It probably won't completely burn off the bodies, but it'll char their flesh up pretty good and turn them just into a pile of bones, maybe. So an actual funeral pyre doesn't really get hot enough to burn bones completely. But anyway, that's probably a bit too much detail about that. So you guys head back down to the main road. Essentially, there's the same sort of similar path that winds through the rocks in the higher grounds. Actually leads out to the right and goes back down to the main road, so you can bypass the landslide that you had some troubles with earlier. And it's pretty easy going back there. You don't really see any other signs of kobolds or any other shenanigans to be had on the path. You pretty much just a straight walk to the road. So you guys get onto the road and say, and is there anything, Oren asks, have you got the shenanigans out of your system for this trip? No? So Oren goes, what were you planning? I've seen you looking at this map that you have of the Mihan Highroad. What?
I'd like to measure how far Jose is from the Highroad ruins.
It's probably about 2 to 3 days, depending on whether you have any troubles on the high wind roads.
Okay, no, I'll do that this time. Okay, I'm going to show him the map and be like, looky here.
And where are you pointing?
Can you ping on the map for me?
Are you pointing here?
Yes.
He goes, I kind of had the feeling that would happen. So he says, the High Road ruins are kind of like a constant thorn in the Yevon-Guards or even the Crusaders back in the day. We originally used it as a military base, but it was abandoned quite a while ago. But as with any sort of abandoned military bases, other things tend to move in there. So every once in a while, the military will come through and clear out whatever's taken up residence there, but it's not a huge high priority for them, and I doubt it's been cleared out in a while. So there could be anything there.
So it was just an old base, like there's not going to be anything in there.
He says it was an old military base, but he doesn't know what's there now.
Let's check it out.
Check it out. Okay, he says, all right, but if it's gonna put these two at risk, we have to be sensible.
It looks like there's a nice safe spot off the road.
He points to the warning label written etched in red ink.
They'll be fine outside.
He goes, okay, puts his hands up, and you guys get on the road. Now it's about a day's travel to this point from where you guys are. You guys are about here. And it's a full day's travel. You guys might have to make camp back here if you want to have some daylight when you get to the High Road ruins. Well, you want to do that? Okay. So you guys travel. You actually don't see anyone else on the road. you suspect maybe that word of the sin spawn attack killer has reached Jose, and probably most pilgrims and travelers that are staying in Jose and choosing not to go to Mihen. It's probably going to have some economic impacts on Mihen, I imagine, but what can you do?
Wouldn't the guard be like, not so good? We cleared them up.
Maybe word of the clearing up hasn't reached. You know how these sorts of rumours are. So you're conversing with Oren now about this.
Oh. You need a different voice.
My voice is Oren's voice.
Put on a more elvish voice.
Put on a more elvish voice. What's an elvish voice?
You could speak like Elrond.
Elrond. I am Oregon. Okay. So you guys conversed for a little while, for most of the day, about the possible economic situation in Mihen and the potential implications of the sin scale attacks. You guys really get into that sort of political discussions and stuff.
Not very intellectual.
You guys have a full-on intellectual discussion. The elderly pilgrim, which I actually have their names somewhere, but I don't know. I don't know where their names are. Maybe I've got them in here. I'll get my DM book while I'm doing this. But what have you done? So yeah, you guys travel. It's a pretty, other than your stimulating intellectual discussion, it's a pretty uneventful day. So you guys arrive to an area that's got a bit of a clearing. It's only just off the road. So what do you want to do? You want to make camp there?
Is this the first night before we get there?
Yeah, you guys are about here. Oh, I'm trying to ping about there.
Yeah, okay.
All right, so you guys set up camp. Oren says, being this close to the road, we might want to post watches.
Well, we will post watches, and I need to at least get 4 hours sleep to heal.
He says that's fine. We can definitely arrange that. 4 hours sleep. Yeah, are you missing 1 hit point? No, you're full health, aren't you? Or 21. Okay. This says, yeah, we can arrange that. Just a day of gentle traveling. You should be able to heal those hit points up. So for reference, the house rules we're playing for hit point healing is after a restful day when you're not having any combat or anything like that, or you don't do anything else major, like walking's fine. Every 4 hours of rest regenerates 1 hit point. So over a general night, you can regenerate 2 hit points. So it can top you off a little bit, but if you're seriously injured, you're going to need extra healing or to spend a few weeks resting or something like that. So anyway, you guys set up camp. Who takes the first watch?
Me.
You take the first watch?
Yep.
Alright, so you stay up to I guess 2 a.m. or something like that, and then take over and Oren watches the last 4 hours.
I'm going to try and train Nook Nook.
You're going to try and train Nook Nook.
I actually updated my handle animal skill.
So you train Nook Nook during your watch?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's your handle animals modifier?
4.
4. Okay, so roll and add +4. What do you have? You have to roll a 20. You roll a 2. Okay, so you're trying to train Nook Nook to do what? Obey your combat commands?
Yes.
Okay. Nook Nook. What does Nook Nook do? Nook Nook instead steals a couple copper off one of the the traveling pilgrims that are with you guys. But then he immediately forgets how to steal, so we didn't actually get anything useful out of that a training attempt. He sort of looks at the copper in his hand like he immediately forgot what he did and scratches his head. So morning comes around. You've slept the morning, so you're feeling reasonably refreshed after 4 hours of sleep. It's not too bad. Oren wakes up. You guys pack up, and you're not too far away. You should be able to get to the path off to the Highroad ruins within an hour.
Alright, let's do that.
Alright, so you guys are traveling.
I am being cautious.
You're traveling cautiously, making perception checks as you go. I perceive a road. So you guys travel for about 50 or so minutes. You estimate by hair past a freckle, and you get to a point where you see a road off to the left, and it's not really a road. It's more like a little path, kind of a bit wider than a goat path, more like, single file men traveling sort of path. As you sort of get there and look off, expectantly, like you're going to head off in that direction, you hear a voice behind you jump out, and it goes, the guy jumps out of the scrub on the side of the road.
How did I not see him?
Goes, la la. Well, I guess you didn't roll perception high enough. The DM didn't roll your perception high enough. Doesn't matter.
Didn't roll it
The
at
guy
all.
jumps out and he's like,
Okay.
look, you gotta help me, you gotta help me.
Oh, okay, he's not trying to attack us.
Yeah, but it's kind of crazy looking.
Hey, calm down, dude.
He goes, no, you gotta help. I can't go calm. The hyena creatures. They're gonna get us.
The what?
They got hyena faces.
Go on.
Go on. All right, so he sort of screams and flails his arms around a bit more and explains to you eventually, after about 10 minutes of screaming and carrying on, that his companions that he was traveling with were taken by gnolls, basically. These are humanoid creatures with the head of hyena.
Do they laugh like hyenas?
They make... I'll tell you the sound they make soon, but not now.
Okay. Will you act it out?
No. I'll play you some freaky...
Okay, but I really
hyena
want
sound.
you to act out some stuff for YouTube.
Anyway.
It's sad that you missed out though.
I'm sure it'll happen. Anyway, so, yeah, and he says there was two of them, and, there was two of them. See, I'm acting out the crazy guy. And they had an actual hyena with them as well. And he says that you've got to help them. They're going to make them slaves or worse.
Where are they?
He says they took him down that path and he sort of flails his arm in the direction of the road towards the Highroad ruins.
Okay, how will you pay us for our services?
Because he just looks at you. His pockets are actually turned inside out.
Well, I might not have asked if I saw that.
This is what happened, right? He this is what you think happened anyway. No, this is what Oren says. Okay, I gotta figure out a way to work this in nicely. Oren says, "It looks like okay." Bear with me for a second. It looks like this is what happened. Noel showed up. He was with his companions. He emptied his pockets immediately on the road to distract the gnolls, jumped into the shrubbery, and hid there while his friends were captured. And the guy sort of looks a little bit freaked out and maybe a little bit ashamed. That's probably actually what happened.
And you thought that would be a good distraction and help your friends.
He says, I don't actually think the gnolls saw me.
So, is your stuff still on the road, or is it...
No, there's nothing else
They've
on the road
taken
there.
it.
There is lots of scratch marks and stuff on the road. They're more than normal trail lookings.
Can I have a look at these with my
Perception? You can roll up for perception.
my
if you want.
druid eyes and
What do your half elf eyes see? Roll for perception.
I upgraded my perception as well.
What is it? So you rolled a
6.
10. 6. Okay, so you rolled a total of 16. Okay, so you spent some time looking at the tracks. You maybe taste the dirt a little bit.
No, I don't
You don't taste the dirt?
No.
Well, you're not going to get all the
I
information
might
then.
sniff it.
Sniff the dirt a little?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, it's kind of smelly. The dirt's kind of smelly. And more than a dirt sort of way. But basically, what you gather from the scratch marks that his claim that there was two larger human-like creatures and possibly one hyena with them seems to be accurate.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to ask him about his friends. Are either of them fighters?
He says no, we're just merchants and pilgrims.
Why would you travel without a guard?
Says we haven't heard any reports of attacks on the Mian Highroad. He says we wanted to save money.
It's always dangerous. Okay, just hang with my human friends here, and we'll go save your friends.
So Oren's sort of looking a bit fidgety. He's like, okay, so
come on,
there's
dude.
probably
Half hyena things. Let's kill them.
Yeah, I'm pretty keen for that. But what are we gonna do with this lot? There's now 3 fairly defenseless people. The young guy looks like... Alright, no offense.
Didn't I give him a spear? One of the...
You did give him one of the gnoll spears, which is basically a little larger than a dagger.
No,
In a
you
sense.
said it was this long.
Like that long.
Yeah,
like
so it's got some
gnoll
reach,
spear.
and he's got my
Alright,
dagger that
it's
I
like
gave
it's
him.
like a short sword then. Fair enough.
I'll give him the redwood bead.
I'm actually going to find the names to make this authentico. But
Okay. And I'd like... the other guy was in some shrubbery. Is there some spaces that they can hide in?
They could hide in the shrubbery.
No, like further off the road.
They could... Okay, so the terrain around you is still pretty rough. It's like lots of ruins and lots of... it's highlands, so there's not really any high, like tall plants in there. It's all like waist height.
Okay. Is there
really
like
rough
some
sort of
ruined
shrubs and stuff.
walls?
They could like probably, you know, scratch their way through the shrubbery and stuff to find a place to go sit in there or something. Feasibly, yes, they could travel difficultly through the terrain for an hour or something and then hang out over there.
An hour?
Yeah, if they wanted to get fairly far off the road.
Okay, I'll leave it up to them. Look, it's up to you how safe you want to be. You choose.
So the older guy says, look, okay, we're with you for the knoll thing, but also for the kobold thing, but now you're going to go off again and leave us here, and okay, we paid you, and he looks to Oren, we paid you to be our bodyguard. You can't just go running off.
And I'm going to be like, Oren, we agreed. Give you 200 gold.
Oren says, look, this is probably for everyone's safety, and we could be saving more lives by dealing with this. And we kind of also, do you like not want us to rescue this person's friends?
I gave them
the old guy
sort of copper, but I gave them gold.
The other guy says, okay, we're very appreciative, and yes, you're probably right. As a priest, you know, it's my responsibility to look out for the well-being of many more people than just myself. And he says, since you're going to rescue other people, we'll do what we can to keep ourselves safe. And
so are they going to go the hour?
But please come back.
Yeah, we'll come back. And then I'm going to turn to Oren and be like, in Elvish, fucking humans.
All right. He just sort of like shakes his head a little bit.
What,
so
you like them?
So you see them sort of scrabbling off into the thing. He's like, I'm just trying to do my duty. You know, she says that. So yeah, they start scrabbling off through the rocks and you know, rough shrubbery, and the guy who's been hiding out there for a while sort of looks like he's a bit at home in it.
Okay.
And
How long has he been there?
And you guys are standing. You didn't ask. So you guys are standing there at the road.
Okay, let's go in.
How are we gonna? It's single file. It's quite small. How do you want to travel? Do you want to go first?
If Oren was in front of me, could I shoot past him?
Yes, feasibly, yes.
Okay, he can go first.
Might make it a bit more difficult, but
short bow
you can probably like lean on a rock and shoot past him or something.
Yep. Okay, let's do that.
Okay, so you guys travel down. It's actually a couple hours before you start to see anything, but you don't really okay. Roll perception. I need to crack in the dice a little bit more. All right, so you guys actually pretty much the whole way you've been seeing the tracks, and they do definitely now look like two humanoid creatures and a hyena. So seems like pretty accurate assessment of what's there. Since it looks like the only entrance road, at least on this side, you know from the map that there's possibly another one that leads to the main road over here. But it seems like the only tracks on this side, so you don't really know if there's anything else there. But you guys travel for a while, and you eventually come to... Let me...
Should I be closing my eyes?
No, it's fine. Actually, close your eyes just in case. No, we're good. Alright, so I've done this right. So basically, you guys come to here. Now you can see, you can start to see in the distance the beginnings of an oldish looking. You can see some walls and stuff basically. But you can also see this caved in door and you know like a little fire thing there and stuff like that. And you can also see this this massive compass thing.
Compass etched in the ground.
Oh my god! What the? So you guys can see that, and Oren sort of like stands off to the side near and says, "Okay, maybe we should like be careful about this."
I really don't want to have to travel back here, but do you want to go to Jose and drop off these human people and then come back?
He says,
I can afford horses now, I reckon.
He says, well, we're already here. We should at least check the place out, surely.
Okay. I think you need to sort out some of your values. You just told me to be cautious, and now you're like, oh, yeah.
He says, well, I've already told you, I'm mostly just a bodyguard for the, to pay my living. My main thing is I'd want to hunt sin, and you know, the other bad creatures of the world aren't so far off hunting sin. You know, I've got to sharpen my
get
skills.
excited.
Okay. It's like okay.
Do you need some?
All right. He starts to get pumped. He's still got his arm in his cloak. So he's like, all right, starting to get pumped up.
Booze.
So while you guys are talking,
Booze.
did you say booze?
Yes.
Okay. All right. He goes. Okay. Now seems like a good time. So he pops off the cork and takes a swig of his flask thing, and you sort of see him starting to get a little bit pumped up. So while that's happening,
right,
you guys start to hear some sounds. Now let me see if I can do this properly. You guys start to hear sounds like this. Maybe a little bit
that
quieter.
sounds nothing like the Lion King.
Is this what you say to Lauren?
Aren't they supposed to be like?
No, that's Disney. That's Disney hyenas. This is the real shit. You're hearing some freaky sounds coming from over in that fortress. So,
Animals. I can do animals.
Oren's looks a little bit less psyched up, but he says, "Okay, what do we do?"
I'm gonna cast guidance on him.
Guidance. Okay, what's that
do
doing?
Like, do this.
Is it a touch spell? Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me get Oren's character sheet here so I can do this properly. Okay, by the way, you noticed last night since you were camping out under the stars that your ring has started glowing again.
Yes!
It's kind of cloudy, so you can see the glow in your ring. And you should have been actively trying to get your ring to glow.
I forgot.
But you're lucky.
Since the
You're lucky
last session, it's been
I'm
a
a
few
kind
days.
DM and I let the moon come out last night to recharge your ring.
Touch of Divine Guidance. The creature gets a +1 competence bonus on a single attack roll.
Okay, they choose the roll
saving
that
throw
they...
or skill check.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense.
Do I need to explain this to him? I suppose I've informed him on the road of...
You should probably tell him that the next major thing... Okay, you tell him however you want to tell him.
Okay, this is going to help out with, like, attacks, or if you're attacked yourself. So,
Sort of looks
you
a
choose
little bit
wisely when to use it.
So
It's like a
you've
good luck
given me
touch.
some luck.
Yes.
Okay, I'm down with that. He looks a little bit more confident. You know, you could be lying to him, but just like the placebo effect at least should do something. So maybe he gets an extra placebo bonus on one of his rolls. Okay. So what do you do now?
Season 1 plays a 20.
What do you do now?
So I still have my bow drawn.
Mm-hmm.
Nook Nook is with me.
Yep. Nook's
Is
just...
that all we see?
Yeah, that's all you see at the moment.
A little bit more.
So where do you want to go up to?
Is there like a natural...
The rocks sort of end here on my crudely drawn rocks.
Okay, let's go to the edge of the rocks.
So like there?
Look-see.
Okay. So let me go to my...
You need a different colour. Oh, I need a different colour.
Oh, it doesn't matter. I suppose you can pick your colour if you want to.
It's good.
Don't look at my computer though. Because it is spoilers. Okay, so you guys get to the... What are you clicking for? Just you're testing. Okay. Confusing me. Alright, so you guys get to... That should come up. No? Apparently I can't ping. Anyway, you guys get to the edge of the rocks there. And, you know, feet, as you'd imagine, you can see a little bit further around the joint. So you can probably even see off to the left here. And you can also see all this jazz here. So you can see a bit more of what's going on.
Okay, can I just step around that rock and look fully left?
Okay,